Report. Well, today the prosecution called its first witnesses in the murder trial of George Huguely. Among those called, Yardley Love's mother and her best friend and roommate. ABC 2 News' Christian Schaefer is in Charlottesville with more on what jurors heard from the very first group of witnesses.
Testimony now well underway in the murder trial of George Huguely. He is accused of killing Yardley Love of Cockeysville in her off-campus apartment at the University of Virginia back in May of 2010. The first witness called by the prosecution was Sharon Love, Yardley Love's mother. She testified about hearing about Love's death and when she heard about it, police coming to her home in Cockeysville the Monday morning, then driving to Charlottesville with her daughter Lexi, packing up Yardley Love's things and bringing them all back to Cockeysville. Lexi Love, her sister, was the second witness to testify. Now, there was some emotion in the testimony of Yardley Love's mother and sister, but perhaps not as much as you might expect. The prosecution seems to be using them to set up its case, but really we learned much more this morning in the opening statement from prosecutor Dave Chapman, who talked about the night that Yardley Love died, talking about George Huguely going to her apartment and assaulting her. He talked about the evidence that the jurors will see in this case, including photos from the autopsy, some of the injuries that Yardley Love suffered. He talked about a video interview that Charlottesville police held with George Huguely. We will be seeing that at some point in the trial as well. There will be also a lot of evidence he talked about the turbulence in their relationship. He said George Huguely had been drinking heavily the entire day leading up to the murder. The prosecutor ending with this admonishment for the jury, quote, "This was a turbulent relationship. It deteriorated with ultimately him killing her." Then it was the defense's turn. Francis Lawrence, the attorney for George Huguely, first told the jury this is a shattering tragedy for the Love family. Nothing we can do or say will lessen that grief. But he said, when you hear the whole story, he said it's much different. And the defense will focus on intent. They're saying without any intent, there is no first-degree murder. In fact, there's not felony murder. The defense attorney spending pretty much the last half of his hour-long opening statement on that subject, intent, saying to the jury, we believe you'll find that Huguely had no intent to do anything other than talk to Yardley Love when he went to her apartment. He said, quote, "You will not believe that George is a murderer." Testimony here at the Charlottesville Circuit Courthouse is continuing at this hour. We'll have more information for you coming up on ABC 2 News at 6. Reporting from Charlottesville, Virginia, Christian Schaefer, ABC 2 News.